Common virtual assistant interview question and answers. How well you ask questions during an interview can make or break the hiring decision. When it comes to virtual assistants, you must ask several questions that help determine how well your candidate can fulfill the job duties and fill your role. The best questions to ask during an interview should be geared towards getting a better understanding of what your future employee will be doing. This will help you make the most efficient choice based on your needs. As a candidate or applicant, knowing the common interview questions for a virtual assistant position can help you prepare your answers and communicate to your interviewer. There are numerous online resources available when it comes to finding information about how to successfully pass an interview. While there is a variety of advice from different sources, here are some general tips that should be considered before their interview starts. First is common questions on details on qualifications. Tell me about yourself. Sample answer. Over the years, I have gained plenty of diverse skills, qualities, and experience that have helped me to become a proficient and highly effective virtual assistant. I would describe myself as resourceful, customer-focused, flexible, and someone who will go out of their way to deliver exceptional service as a virtual assistant. Before applying for this position, I studied the job description carefully to make sure I had the necessary attributes to perform to a high standard in the role. I consider myself to be a high achiever. For example, in my last role, I helped the company win an important sales contract by working additional hours as AVA over the weekend to collate all the relevant documentation. They needed to submit a very strong proposal. If you hire me as a virtual assistant, I will be reliable, trustworthy, adaptable, and someone who always demonstrates exceptional timekeeping, administrative skills, and attention to detail in the role. Why do you want to be a virtual assistant? Sample answer. I want to be a virtual assistant because I feel I work the best when I am given set tasks and responsibilities I need to work on each day, and when I am working towards a defined objective. Being someone that is highly organized, proficient, industrious, and self-sufficient, the position of a virtual assistant is very much suited to my natural abilities. I also want to be a virtual assistant because I genuinely get the most satisfaction when I have a job where I am serving others. I feel a great sense of pride in the knowledge that the work I have done for someone has had a positive impact on their goals and objectives. What makes you qualified for this position? This is one of the most common interview questions and the most tricky to answer. The best answer should show that the candidate has read about and familiarized themselves with the position and the company. Sample answer. I read through the tasks for the position, and I am confident I am the virtual assistant for the job. I have worked in similar roles before, and with my help, my boss didn't have to worry about missing emails, forgetting appointments, organizing notes, etc. I admire your company's vision, and it would be great if you consider me for the position. Explain how you prioritize your virtual assistant tasks. The answer to this should show the candidate's time management skills, which is one of the necessary qualifications for a virtual assistant. The goal for the candidate is to show that they can work independently and efficiently, meet deadlines, and make decisions to get the job done. Sample answer. In my experience, I am more effective if I make a list before I start my day. I remove items from my list as I finish them and add or rearrange things, depending on the requirements of my client or manager. Also, seeing the tasks written in black and white helps me focus and not get distracted or pressured. When deadlines pile up, what communication tool do you prefer to use? This question is to gauge your knowledge of common virtual assistant communication tools and their flexibility with using different tools. The best answer to this is an honest one. A candidate who pretends to know tools just to be impressive will only reflect negatively on their application. Sample answer. My default communication tool is email, but Slack, Skype, and WhatsApp have been effective for me in the past. I prefer Google Drive for file sharing and Trello for project management software. For virtual meetings, my go-to app is Zoom, but I have also worked with Teams and Google Meet. I allow my manager or boss to choose their preferred tools. I adjust to their choice of tools or learn how to use them if I haven't used them before. How do you solve problems encountered as a virtual assistant? Give an example. The answer to this should showcase the candidate's problem-solving skills and persistence in overcoming challenges. Problem-solving skills include the ability to identify the problem, resourcefulness in researching possible solutions, willingness to try and evaluate solutions, and openness for continuous learning. Citing a specific incident can also help to demonstrate such skills. Sample answer. Last time, my client wanted product images for their e-commerce site, but these pictures on the source website were protected from being saved to my computer. After confirming with my client that these photos need to come from the said source website, I set about researching how to retrieve protected images from a website. It was my first time doing that, and I was proud to have found a way to accomplish my task. How do you resolve a dispute or disagreement in the workplace? Share an experience, if any, facing tight deadlines or impossible tasks is unavoidable for virtual assistants. The candidate's answer should show their working style and reaction to work-related pressure. Sample answer. There were no major conflicts in my past experiences as a virtual assistant. There were difficult tasks from clients that needed me to go back and clarify with them, but there were no significant disputes or unpleasantness. However, in my previous job in customer technical support, I dealt with angry callers and irate managers. I dealt with them calmly and kindly and always tried to see the situation from their perspectives. If faced with an impossible task or a deadline you can't meet, what's your next step? This question tests honesty and conflict resolution skills in the face of difficult team members. A virtual assistant must show empathy, level-headedness, professionalism, and willingness to compromise to resolve conflict. Sample answer. First, I notify my boss or client ahead of time. Give the reason for not meeting the deadline and provide an alternative deadline. Once I couldn't provide my boss with the information she needed, I informed her that I won't have the information until Monday, because I was waiting for the person to return to their office on the said day. What made you leave your last virtual assistant position? This is another tricky question to answer for virtual assistants. The interviewer asks this question to assess the risk of hiring the candidate. The answer to this should be honest and transparent, but should still paint the candidate in a good light. Sample answer. I have worked as a freelance virtual assistant for different clients in the past 5 years. I have enjoyed working with various companies in varying fields. One of the projects I have been working on ended, and my schedule allowed me to take on another client. I found your job posting and consider. Second is questions on details on experience or background. The following questions will further convince the interviewer of the candidate's suitability for this position. The experience or background that is already on the resume should be more specific and not a repetition of the resume. What's the best skill you've learned from your past virtual assistant positions? This question lets the interviewer know that the candidate has valuable learnings and takeaways from their past jobs. This question lets the interviewer know that the candidate has valuable learnings and takeaways from their past jobs. Sample answer. There are several skills that I've learned since I started working as a virtual assistant, but if I have to choose only one, it would be flexibility. Flexibility is not something that came naturally to me before, but since working with different people and different working environments and communication styles, I can now easily adjust to their styles to be an effective virtual assistant for them. How do you keep your skills up to date as you go about your job? There are chances that your skills will be outdated. Virtual assistants need to keep an eye on their skills and update them from time to time. Sample answer. With my busy work schedule, I cannot join as much training or enroll in online courses as I want to. Recently, a new skill I learned was that of using an inventory software, and this was because it was required for my job. When not learning to use new tools, I try to learn and update my skills by interacting with my clients or other team members. Which virtual assistant tasks are you an expert on? This is a question to help the interviewer identify whether or not the candidate will be able to fulfill their expectations as a virtual assistant. The answer can be quite specific depending on the actual position, but it should be closely related to the job description. Sample answer. I have particular expertise in preparing financial reports. I have been doing this for clients for 2 years as a virtual assistant and 5 years in my previous job in a real estate company. I understand you seek a virtual assistant for these reports and other accounting tasks. I am sure that I am the person you want for the position. What do you think is the most important skill of a virtual assistant? An experienced virtual assistant will provide a wide range of skills and know-how that they have acquired throughout their career. A candidate should be able to describe what their major responsibilities are at each company and organize their current job market for future virtual assistant positions. Sample answer. For me, most important skill that a virtual assistant can have is adaptability, working with different clients. I have learned that I needed to learn how to work with different communication styles. Third is questions about your personality. Hiring team members is one of the most important tasks you need to get right. This is a skill that requires expertise and experience, as well as plenty of trial and error. One of the best skills to have in your toolbox is the ability to hire employees who will work well together and make cohesive teams. Today, I am going to show you how to gauge a candidate's personality. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Knowing your strengths and weaknesses is crucial to being a good virtual assistant. You need to know what you're good at and how to improve. And you also need to learn how to work around any problems that may arise. Sample answer. I am creative and have no issue when it comes to thinking out of the box. I have worked with previous clients who praise me for being innovative in solving their problems. And because I have so much pride in my ideas. The downside is sometimes I struggle with negative criticisms. I am slowly learning to go easy on myself and not to treat criticisms of my work as reflections of my value as a person. Do you enjoy working as a virtual assistant? Why? The ideal answer to this question is one in which you talk about how excited you are about being a virtual assistant, but also show that your enthusiasm is genuine. You don't want to sound as if you're living on the line between overemphasizing and sounding insincere. Sample answer. I admit I took my initial job as a virtual assistant only as an extra source of income. But being a virtual assistant gives me the freedom and flexibility that has been missing. In my professional life, I don't regret getting into this field. And I see myself working as a virtual assistant for a very long time. What made you decide to apply for this position? Having studied the job description thoroughly and a thorough understanding of the company. Applying for this job doesn't mean that there is no need for you to ask questions and demonstrate your interest in working here. Being able to give thoughtful and well-organized answers that show you have considered every aspect of the position will help you get through to the final round of interviews. Sample answer. I looked over your requirements carefully to make sure I meet them. I am a virtual assistant with a focus on writing blogs, but my SEO writing is limited to using Google search suggestions and in top rankings. This position will improve my SEO writing abilities and expose me to more content writing too. Do you have questions regarding this position or company? Sample answer. This question is often asked near the end of the interview. The purpose of this question is to let the candidate clarify things regarding the interview. Asking questions at the end of the interview shows that a candidate has a genuine interest in the position. Can you tell me more about the inventory process? You assign to the virtual assistant. What applications or software do you use? Fourth, work-specific detail questions. Some questions in a virtual assistant interview are the same as any other job interview. The applicants should be prepared for these questions, as they play a role in determining whether the applicant will get hired or not. These are questions that need good answers and that have already been